Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So the developers have released a developers Q&A, number 10. I didn't know there was there's so many by now. Okay, so anyway, hello everyone, Dislyte version blah 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 has been online, and they have basically just reviewed some of our feedback and suggestions along the way. Thus, we have asked the developers to answer some of the most concerning questions and talk about their plans for future updates. So they're going to address some of the things that was frequently brought up, which is essentially the Andrus stuff, the equipment management feature and skins, and of course the bounty missions as well, which is, I think this is kind of like a small thing. I was kind of hoping that they would address some of the more important stuff like bugs. I'm a little bit disappointed that they did not mention anything about improving on game testing and making sure that the game works flawlessly. I mean, bugs happen every once in a while, but this game has a lot of bugs, and I'm about to drop another video just later on regarding a brand new bug with APET. Okay, it's not really brand new, but we'll get into that. Alright, question 1. Based on community feedback, people aren't satisfied with the appearance of Andrus. I kind of feel like this is a little bit of my fault for bringing it up in the first place. What do you plan to do about that? That's true, we'd like to apologize to all players who were disappointed. We must admit it looks too different from the Chinese dragon silhouette we hinted at before. It was a poor decision to abandon the original design in preference for one from the Celestial anomaly. Good on them for recognizing it. Now, to prevent those invested in Andrus from having wasted their resources, we decided to keep the original mechanics while essentially just changing his appearance, which would then become a dragon in the future. But this process would take a long time, and I think they mentioned that it would take them several months to design the entire Ritual Miracle Dragon, which means that we're going to be stuck with Andrus for the time being for, I'm not sure what several months means, maybe 4 months, 5 months, who knows. Essentially all they're doing is to redesign the boss just to give us whatever that we have requested for, eventually. Okay, so my opinion about question 1 is that there is nothing set in stone, because they have just mentioned that this is something that is huge and will take a long time. It is something that they are promising, and from what we already know, they are not really that great with keeping their promises, so I'm not going to hold it to them that they're going to make this come true at all. The best is to lower your expectations so that, number 1, you don't pressure developers to actually pull through with this when there are other more important things like Esper balancers, that kind of stuff. And number 2, I think we don't just set the expectation for us and then we get upset about it, right? So that is question number 1. And now question number 2, does that mean that Andrus won't be the last boss in Ritual Miracle? What else do you have planned? I mean, there is nothing... Why would you even assume that Andrus would or wouldn't even be the last boss in the first place? I don't think anyone ever asked this question. But correct, Andrus won't be the last boss in Ritual Miracle. The feedback from the recent update will help us find the right frequency for Ritual Miracle boss inclusions and that kind of stuff, right? So they don't want the game to become monotonous, which is something that most players are feeling right now. Neither would they want the game to be too pressurizing on players to develop their formations and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so the thing is, this, like question number 1, is completely speculative. Nothing is set in stone. They're just saying that there's going to be future updates with more Ritual Miracle bosses and whatnot, but that also means that there's going to be more Desolate Land bosses, there's going to be more mechanics jam-packed into the game. But like I said, everything is just speculative. There is nothing set in stone. What I really want to see is snippets of the development team actually working on these stuff. So for example, I would like to see the art team working on what the dragon boss is going to look like maybe just a bland wireframe or at least some kind of artwork that is being designed in behind the scenes right now. So nothing over here is giving us a confirmation, so I'm a little bit skeptical. And now question number 3, let's talk about the treasures guarded by the Ritual Miracle enemies. The usability of equipment sets have been discussed for a long time in the community. When will we get equipment management features to make this easier? So right now we do have an equipment management feature, which is kind of just like sorting your different espers according to like all these customized slots, right? But of course your equipment would be based on whatever that you have already set in your esper page over here. So what they are saying in this part is that they are actually going to allow you to not just set your esper formation, but to also set your equipment formation, which means each of these Ritual Miracle bosses will have, I'm not saying Ritual Miracle boss, each of these battle scenarios, should I say, will probably have their own unique equipment set layouts and all that kind of stuff. So you can have a certain set in your Ritual Miracle. For example, your Ashley has a war set in the Ritual Miracle, but in, let's say, the Desolate Lands, okay, for whatever reason, she has, I don't know, the relief set. I don't know. This is good, but this is also bad, and they have addressed it. So in our original plan, matching equipments with espers was a central strategy in the game. We thought that being able to equip and remove equipment anytime would cause players to pursue a single set of premium equipment to be shared by multiple espers. So this is the main complaint that the developers would have to players who are suggesting that, okay, I want my Esper formation to have equipment formation as well, right? Specific equipment sets in each of these teams. Then the issue with that is that players would only need to have one single equipment set, one single premium equipment set, okay, or maybe a handful at most. And with these handful of equipment pieces, you'd be able to clear every single content without having to worry about building so many different Espers differently, that kind of stuff, which is like what I'm doing right now. So all of my Espers are all fully built because I use each of them in individual content. And if I feel like I need another Esper to perform its role in a new content or in an existing content, I'll need to farm for more equipment pieces just to make that Esper work. And that actually gives more reason for me to farm Ritual Miracles. But if they are going to make it so easy and essentially give different formations its own equipment sets, then that takes away from the need to farm Ritual Miracles, right? So there is a good side of it and there is the bad side of it, which I'm not sure. I'm just a player at this point. So I'm actually very curious to see what they're going to do about it. But this is something that is actually set in stone because they have already mentioned in the next version, 3.3.2, we will improve the formation management system so that you can save formations and their corresponding equipment sets to use depending on the specific battle scenario. I'm actually very, very curious to see how they're gonna do this. Is it going to be every different battle scenario? Like you have Ritual Miracles, you have your Dislyte lands, you have a Celestial Anomaly maybe. Are these all going to have different equipment sets? I really wonder. Because if each of these content allow you to reshuffle equipment pieces all over again, then I think for most of the players in the game, we don't need to farm Ritual Miracles anymore, I think. But we will also continue to make it easier to manage formation and save equipment sets so that they are suitable for a wider range of instances. So I think it's, for the time being, in 3.3.2, what they want to do is to probably give us a separate preparation room for maybe specific content like Sentinel Hunt, for your Ritual and Dislyte lands together. I think this is my suspicion. And you have Celestial Anomaly on its own as well. And I think maybe in the future, they will probably give us more preparation rooms for other content. I think. I'm not super sure. But at least this is something that is set in stone because they have already promised us in the next update. Okay, question number 4. Skins have also been a hot topic lately. What improvements are planned regarding skin designs and obtaining skins? So the answer is here. We recognize that the appeal of skins come from the difference between the design of the skin and the original character design. We are considering reducing the output speed of skins to focus on producing more refined and unique designs and models. Okay, so they are saying that they're not going to release like just color swaps. They're going to release more unique designs and unique models, which is really good. So like Freddy, for example, I think that was great. Pritzker was also really good. Chloe is also really good. Liling and Lewis, I think, okay, Lewis is not so much, but Liling, I think it was not bad. Now, while we originally planned to offer free skins to all players during an annual bonus event, plus the free skins for PvP fans in warm-up matches, we have recently begun adjusting the overall skin release schedule so that we can offer 2 different types of skin bonus events each year. And in the current version of the plan, warm-up matches and free skin bonus events have a higher priority than paid Battle Pass rewards. Okay, so this is kind of same as question 1 and question 2. There is nothing set in stone. We do not know exactly what they mean and what will be the expected and eventual outcome of how skins are being provided to a community and how they're going to sell it and all that kind of stuff. I wish they actually gave us a little bit more insight on this. And finally, question number 5. We have noticed that the stories in bounty missions haven't been updated for a while. Why not? You guys can read this. I don't really care too much about it. Like I said, I feel like the story in Dislyte is not really that good. I mean, some of you guys have said that the recent stories were pretty good, but in the Lien update itself, I gave it one last chance and it was horrible. Anyway, so based on all these 5 points, I feel like the only one point that we can really work with is question number 3 here, where they are going to change up the equipment formations. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm not super sure how it's going to turn out to be, but I'm pretty sure that it's at least going to make some of us a little bit happier as well. But aside from that, a lot of these are all probably just promises, and like we have experienced in the past, they don't do very well with promises and they tend to just slip up a little bit, right? So like I said, I'm not going to expect anything regarding their promises, but let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. How do you feel about this developers Q&A? Do you have anything else that you feel like they should have addressed as well, which is not addressed? I personally really hope that they would have talked a little bit more about Esper balancing and like game testing, bug fixes, that kind of stuff. Just, you know, just to improve the actual game itself, the game quality itself. But yeah, that's it for this developers Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now that's it. This has been Derek Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.